Hello, friends, and welcome back to Dots of Destiny. Om Namah Shivaya. Friends, today I have started with the new year, the year 2025, how it is panning out for all the ascendants. So today I've taken the fire signs to start with. This new year will see a lot of changes, and the changes will be sometimes a little unsettling, and but we have to go with the thing. I will write down the on the screen. I will give the transits, whatever it is happening in its due course. The thing is that mainly the this year 2025 is governed by three phases. What I have taken, the way I have chosen to speak about it. First is the 3 months of January, February, and March. This is where Saturn is still in Aquarius and Jupiter is also in Taurus, and it goes from being direct to retrograde. So, and Mars is like hovering around Cancer and Gemini. So this is the time of the year. January, February, March is a built up time where every individual in a small scale or a big scale will face some kind of situations where they are building up for some kind of a change that is inevitable this year. One thing about this year is that change is inevitable. We cannot do away with that. It will happen. So first thing is that now, as Saturn changes its sign into Pisces, the change will be felt in the month of April and also in the month of May and June. These 3 months, the thing is that not only Saturn changes that energy of April, in meantime Venus also goes retrograde. But May month again sees a lot of changes with Jupiter, Rahu, Ketu all changing signs. Now, this is quite tumultuous. April, May, June. Why? Because as you know, you are more or less quite aware that Pisces is housing lot of planets this year during the month of April, and at that point of time two planets again goes retrograde. Venus and Mercury goes retrograde during that time when it is in Pisces. Though whether direct, whether retrograde, Mercury is getting a Nij Bhanga from Venus being there. Now again a shift is happening because Saturn in Pisces with Rahu, Venus, Mercury, Sun all in April month will be there. Now, when Saturn stabilizes in this April month, Rahu is in the zone of changing sign from Pisces to its own sign of Aquarius. So here Aquarius sees in the month of March ingress of Rahu, and Leo will house Ketu. So March May month will be very much full of that implementation of those changes that are coming up. Any change, first it is in the brain that the change will happen, in the consciousness. Then we come to execute the change. So that execution or thinking part will happen in the first 3 months. Then from April, May, June, the changes will start happening, and we have to go with the changes in these 3 months. And then from July onwards, we will see a little bit settlement of the changes that has already happened. So that's why January, February, March is different. April, May, June is different. June, why I'm saying is that Mars will come into Leo and will have a conjunction with Ketu in the month of June. June it will come closer. Then it will have an exact conjunction with Ketu in the month of July. And then it will change sign. So July, August, September, these months will be different. July, August, September. Again, October also, kind of. November will see Jupiter getting into Cancer, and December will see Jupiter is retrograding back. So again, November, December will have a little bit of different kind of flavor that is understood, especially due to the transit of Jupiter here and there. Now, when all these things are happening in the month of June, Saturn goes retrograde, and the retrogression is such that it reaches again towards the 0 degree of Pisces. So precisely, I have jot down the dates because there are so many dates to be talked about. When it will be 30th October, 30th October. See again this November, December, why it is different. November, December will see in the watery trikon, Mars will be coming into its own sign Scorpio. Jupiter will be in Cancer and Saturn will be in Pisces. As this is happening this year, my last video, the trines, watery trines getting activated by Mercury, Rahu and Mars, same will happen again next year in the month of November, the watery trines getting activated. So again, the big planets now, these are really effective because Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, these are very, very effective in the watery signs will come. And again will start the process nearly from 0 degrees. So what is happening in this year totally is that as far as Saturn is concerned, it is not moving an inch. If you see in the reality that it is starting from 0 degree Pisces, again coming back to 0 degree. When it will go direct in the month of December, it will be again in 0 degree Pisces. So that means whatever activity, whatever things, whatever decisions that has been taken in the year of 2025 regarding Saturn will see some kind of a reassessment again, starting right from the beginning of the degrees of Pisces. Jupiter's sudden movement, it is a very high movement because in 1 year, a planet like Jupiter is transiting 3 signs. From January to May, it will be in Taurus. Then it goes to Gemini. Till October, it will be in Gemini. November, it enters into Cancer. It does not go retrograde unless and until it is December, by the end of the year. So you can see there is a very fast and swift movement of Jupiter from February as it goes direct in Taurus to 0 degrees of or 1 degrees of Cancer. It will go again retrograde in the month of December, the last month of the year 2025. So Jupiter's impact will be very fast, and in this the fast atichari transit of Jupiter, because Jupiter is the rectification planet, I feel whenever Jupiter enters into a sign, the purpose of Jupiter is to give the knowledge to that area of our life and how to change the things in that area and to what betterment. That is because it is the guru, it is the natural knowledge giver. And that is how we rectify the process in that 13 months. Usually Jupiter stays for 12 to 13 months in a sign. But here when the knowledge is given to us, it is so fast and so quick that some knowledge we may get, but some we can just overlook. And that is why I feel Saturn is again coming back into 0 degrees of Pisces. Having started from Pisces by 30th of March, it will start from 0 degrees. Again in December, when it after completion of its retrogression, it goes direct, it will again be at 0 degrees. So it is like we have to repeat the process, whatever we started from March. Though, because Saturn is a planet who believes in making a solid base, as Jupiter believes in rectifying the process through a knowledge, Saturn believes in making a base for everything. And whenever Saturn enters a sign, you will see that it totally rejects whatever you have done till date, more or less, to that area of your life. Now, if it goes into your 10th house, it doesn't mean it rejects everything. It rejects maybe the process of what and how you had been doing the things till now. And so you have to get into a better process of doing the thing, reinventing different ways, processing yourself to make new changes so that it is better in every possible way, and you get long-term gains from that. That is the word of Saturn, that it is the greatness of Saturn does not come easily. So that's why it requires a lot of slogging, a lot of thinking, a lot of re-looking back. That's why it goes retrograde for a very long time, and it is very having a slow movement. Now, like it has gone direct, it is kind of stationary. It is making us think about different things before it is moving slowly its movement forward and completing its final movement in the sign of Aquarius, its Mool Trikon. So that's why there are a lot of changes, and I will make videos separately. I will make these videos of Jupiter in Taurus, Jupiter in Gemini, Jupiter in Cancer, obviously, Saturn in Pisces, and last but not the least is Rahu Ketu is a big change this year. Rahu moving into its own sign of Aquarius, where I feel it will really work well. All the significance of Aquarius are satisfied by Rahu. First and foremost, it's an airy sign. Rahu is an airy planet. Aquarius is group activities. It is thinking out of the box. It is the intellectuals. And Rahu is also that kind of a planet. It fits the bill. And I feel personally Saturn fits more into the area of Capricorn, where you slog, hard work, like a crocodile, you have to keep on doing the things and you have to wait for the chance to happen so that you grasp it. And here emotions doesn't work in the 10th house matters in Capricorn. But Aquarius is a lighter version of Saturn, if I can say, if I can use those words. Rahu works brilliant over here. Rahu in Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Rahu is at its intellectual best. Libra, still it gives problems in relationship area. Business wise, it is better in Libra, overseas or anything. But Aquarius is the true intellectual thing. Gemini is more of the communication factors that comes in, and Rahu is a great communicator. But Aquarius is the thinking box. It has the full, it has all nakshatras. Gemini has Ardra. This has Swati, Libra. And this has Shatabisha. Shatabisha is that Rahu will be very effective in the, now it is in Uttar Bhadrapada, it will go to Purva Bhadrapada. Once it comes into Shatabisha, it will be in the full form of Rahu, giving the full result of the Aquarius group activities, unknown groups, Rahuish, which are not known to you, very foreign type of groups, that all those things will happen. That will come into fruition, and then there will be a lot of changes in your intellectual abilities. That is the Rahu in Aquarius. It is a good transit, and Jupiter will also aspect this Aquarius for a certain amount of time when it is in Gemini. But Ketu in Leo is, actually if you go by the sign, Ketu has Magha Nakshatra, the first 13 degrees of Leo. Yes, if Leo is a very gorgeous and very royal sign, and it is a shining, you have to shine. When whatever comes into Leo, it has to shine, whether Mercury, Venus, Saturn, whatever planet, if it is housing Leo, it has to shine over there. That is the characteristics of Leo. That's why sun, its own mool trikon, its own sign is brilliant out there, because it's a shining, most shining planet of the universe. Now the thing is that Ketu here, the Magha Nakshatra in Leo denotes that you have the kingship, but king is the person who should be most benevolent also. And for the goodness of the king, as we know, the king's the nature should be so magnificent. It should be like Ketu, that working not for any self desire. So Leo and Ketu, the problem is that Ketu is a very hot planet and Leo is a very hot sign. Here things will get very heated up, but actually it gives you a lot of definition in the sign of Leo, and I will describe it in my when the video I will do in Rahu Ketu transit. See, because I don't want to do early videos. Suddenly if I make a video of now like Rahu going into Aquarius and Ketu in Leo, which is already there, I have seen people making it, it is quite far away. Let us deal with November, December, January, February, March. A lot of things are there to be heard and seen about. Why to jump into May when things are quite far away? So, but I'll make this video, Ketu, how it fits in Leo. It's because it is for the higher good. King, the problem with us is now we see such governments and kings that who work for own desire. The work of the king is for the outlook of the society, not about himself. So that's why Ketu, where it comes, it totally frees you from that area. That is why, Ketu is not good in Libra, because Libra requires patience, relationship. It is the seventh house, and that's why Ketu being in Virgo now, we see lot of changes in the sixth house area. People are dealing with court cases. That always happens, but you'll see the work environment is getting changed a lot nowadays, and that is a very current of late in 2025. I'm seeing there's a lot of changes in the job front for a lot of people. That is what the response I'm getting now. Ketu in Leo is a different energy. Leo is the king, and if you are a king in whatever area your Leo is, you feel king-like over there. You have to not get rid of the kingship, but you have to get rid of your own motives over there. That is what Ketu is in Leo will teach us when Ketu crosses over all the nakshatras of Leo, which I'll talk definitely. So this is a very year which I cannot say whether it will pan out good or bad, because it will vary from sign to sign, person to person. Dasha is the king, as we know, but a lot of things will come into perspective and we have to deal with it, and hopefully astrology gives us that guidance to go through these times, which are not very easy to deal with, but I hope we'll all be able to cope through it. And yes, obviously in this whole 12 months everything cannot be challenging. There will be settling months also, there will be good signs also that will be happening, that every month we'll talk about. But as of now, what I've thought is a gist of all the ascendants in separate video I will be putting out in what will be happening in the year 2025 for each ascendants. So let's talk about all the ascendants. Leo ascendants, let us talk about the new year 2025. 2025, as I have made a separate section on the kind of planetary changes that is going to happen, please, I request you all to go through that video in understanding how the planets will pan out in this year. Because this year I have taken it into 3 to 4 clusters. 3 clusters if I take in that way. January, February, March will see the sun, your Lagna Lord will as usual change its sign. By this time that it will come into Sagittarius. It will begin in Sagittarius. Your fifth house, then come into sixth house, seventh house, like that. So there will be a Sun and Saturn clash in Aquarius in the month of when Sun will be in Aquarius. So here some opposition you can face from people, your business things and all these things can happen. Your partnership can see some opposition. Some these things can come into the focus in the first part of the year. But understand that Saturn's last phase in Aquarius is very crucial for your business developments also. Then because see here, your 10th lord Venus will also join Saturn immediately as January starts in Aquarius. Venus 10th lord will be in Aquarius with Saturn. This is a good time. Venus and Saturn does both in good in the 7th house. Then Venus goes into your 10th lord in the 8th house with Rahu. This is a good combination for see, overseas related things, business, clients, dealings, projects, overseas, all these things. And Venus here will go retrograde also. By February it will go retrograde, and it will go direct by March, April. It will take a time, and Mercury, your 2nd and 11th lord, will also join Venus in this retrogression in the 8th house, and also they will go direct in the same house, and it is a Nijbhanga Raj Yoga because Venus is in its exaltation also. Now the thing is that when all this is happening, Saturn, your 7th and 6th lord, is moving into Pisces. Now here the change, the first months of January, February and March will see a lot of developments. As Sun does well in the 5th and the 6th house, Jupiter will go direct in the 10th house in Taurus, and also Venus will join Saturn in the 7th house and then in the 8th house. Business related things, money generated from the business, overseas clients, overseas project, all these things will be good during the first 3 months. Now the preparation of the first 3 months is, you will see as Saturn is moving into Pisces in your 8th house. If you are a Leo moon, definitely it is Ashtam Shani. Now whether from the Lagna or whether from the moon, if Saturn is transiting in the 8th house, the theme will be about working in seclusion. Your groups will not be of any help. Things will pan out in such way, because 8th house is also 11th from the 10th house, and as Saturn will enter your 8th house, its first drishti will be on the 10th house and the 2nd house and the Sagittarius 5th house. So Saturn's movement immediately will bring a change. That is the second cluster of the year will be the month of April, May and June. I have taken it like that because April will see Saturn dealing with the planets in Pisces. As we all know, there will be an amalgamation of planets in the 8th house. Now 8th house is 100% a transformation. You have to leave your ego about certain things and you have to surrender it to the God, because it is the sign of surrender, Pisces. Now whatever is happening, you have to go with the flow, because May month, April, Sun is also in 8th house. Your Lagna Lord being in the 8th house, you cannot, take too much of decisions and too much of hurry or too much of confidence you cannot show over here in the April month. Now when Sun moves slowly into exaltation after 15th of April, that is from April I'm telling is that April, May, June will work in a different way. Why? Rahu Ketu will change sign. May month comes, Jupiter changes sign, Rahu Ketu changes sign after the 15th, when Sun completes his transit into exaltation and goes into the 10th house. Sun in the 10th house is good, Jupiter goes into the 11th house, Rahu comes into the 7th house. Now the situation is not bad. It is a good situation. Jupiter in the 11th, Sun in the 10th, and also Rahu in the 7th house also. Partnership, business, all these things will be focused. Ketu will be on the ascendant. And Ketu being in Leo, it some kind of unsettled feeling Ketu brings. If you can ask any of your Virgo friends, they'll tell you that the year they are already going through, still Ketu will Virgo will house Ketu for many months. I'll make all these separate videos. As for now, please listen to the preface of this video. I'll link the total thing, what is happening in 2025. Immediately I will in January month, I feel, or December, I'll do Saturn's movement. Then Jupiter and Rahu Ketu, still there's a lot of time to move into new sign. So that will be a totally different discussion. I don't want to put immediately those videos. A lot of other things are there to be discussed, and so let's wait for that. But obviously, as Ketu enters by the end of May, the second half of May on your Lagna, already some kind of unsettled feeling will grasp you. And understand that during all these time, Mars will be retrograde in January. It will already, in December it will become retrograde. January it will enter into Gemini, 11th house. It will go direct in the 11th house, bringing you profit and all these things. Mars in the 11th is good. But again, see, April month, 2nd of April, that's why April is very cautious month. Mars will go into debilitation again. So April over here is coming out, the month where you should be utmost cautious. With your money, with yourself, with your health, with your friends, with your partners, everything. As Saturn, the 7th lord, moves into 8th, Rahu is still there. Venus will go direct, Mercury will be there, and Mars will be going into again debilitation, the 12th house. May month will see changes happening as Rahu will move from the conjunction of Saturn into 7th, and Jupiter will go in the 11th house. Again, partnership gains and all this will come into focus. Now, May month, these changes as it is happening, you land into June month, and Mars, your Yogakarak planet, will come on the Lagna by the 6th of June, and you'll start feeling very confident. Now, this confidence is not bad, but understand Ketu is there. Some irritation will also happen. Maybe you are feeling confident about something. People come and pick you, or, take you in some other way, rub you off in a bad way. Be very cautious about not getting hurt anywhere, because as we all know that Ketu is razor sharp, Mars is violence. So any kind of that is you have to take care. These things can happen sudden, we always cannot take care, but drive cautiously. That is very important. Driving is a part where accidents can happen easily, so you have to be very cautious, and some such transits are at play. Now, this conjunction of Mars and Ketu will continue in the month of July, and they'll have a direct conjunction in the month of July on 29th, last of July. Mars will go into Virgo, your second house, and by that time the Sun's movement is not bad, barring the fact again August month, as August will see Mars going into Virgo, having a Shani Mangal yoga in the 2nd, 8th axis. So monetary, investments, family, immediate family, all these things become very important for you. Sun will come into Leo and again face Ketu over there. Now, here also your health related things, you can get certain fame also, because Ketu also in Leo gives sudden fames also, it comes to them. But if you are running that kind of a dasha, but if suppose you are running a Saturn dasha, or a Saturn Rahu, Saturn Venus, or Saturn Mercury, nowhere there is Sun Mars combination, anything, you shouldn't be very optimistic about things, because Sun shines very brightly in Leo. But understand, Ketu Rahu axis is now on the Lagna in the 7th house. So that's why for you, Leo, this transit of Ketu will be challenging. Why? Because you have to, if at all, because if you have a inflated ego, you have to give it up. That is why Ketu is over here. Whenever Ketu transits a sign, the sign goes through a transformation, because Ketu is the ruler of Scorpio. Now you can see Ketu running into your second house, through your second house, can give you uneasy feeling with your family, separation with them, some monetary issues, some money going out of your hand unnecessarily. You learn the money value. That is the takeaway. You be more cautious about it. Similarly, when Ketu comes on the Lagna this year from May month to the November 2026, it's a long time, 18 months. You have to give up yourself. In the means what? You become totally service oriented, in the sense that not giving up your personality. You project yourself in such a way that your ego is kept aside, and whatever you are doing is destined by God. This is what Saturn asks for in the 8th house. If you can really go to that kind of a state of existence, which I'm not saying is easy, that you do the things not for your sake. And that's why when a 10th house Ketu is there, people, if they work for others, they flourish. Ketu gives name, fame, no doubt about that. So, but in an uncanny way. So you give up your ego, your selfishness, your self-centeredness, and you surrender to the whole thing. Then I feel you'll feel mentally at peace, physically in a good kind of existence. Now, this is the August, September that is panning out, with Mars being in Virgo and then in Libra. Venus by that time will come on your Lagna. 10th Lord coming on the Lagna and getting attached to Ketu. 10th Lord getting attached to Ketu, you become service oriented. You give to people in the way a king gives. The way of the king is that he must serve his people who is made for. The sign of Leo has that kind of an energy. That giving is there, but the ego has to be left out. Now, when Venus comes, you feel very refined. But understand that Venus conjunction with Ketu, and in the early month, when February, March, Venus goes retrograde in Pisces, will see your work area and your efforts area will go through some kind of a change. You will look back and you will process the things in a different way. Your profession, whatever it is, it will have certain changes this year. Not that the profession itself will change, but it will see some kind of a adjustment mode, some kind of changes that you will inculcate, and that will be driven first by the Venus retrograde in Pisces during the beginning 2 months of the February, March, and then later Venus comes into the house of Leo and gets conjunct with Ketu. And I'll give you the dates also. There are so many dates. Venus comes into Ketu. Just I'll share the dates. So these things, as it is happening, Mars goes into Libra also. You have to be very careful with relationships also, because I remember that when Venus Ketu is in conjunction, Mars is coming into Libra. So relationships has to be handled quite in a fragile way. It has to be understood and handled. That is the way, because Ketu on the Lagna makes sudden decisions. That suddenness should be avoided at any cost, because suddenness will lead to problem, as Saturn is being in the 8th house. It is telling you to go slow, being in seclusion and research oriented mode, and do not fidget with things much. Let it happen as it is flowing. Last part of the years, as you cross October, you see in November again your 12th, 8th and 4th, the Moksha Trikon gets activated. Saturn being in the 8th house, Jupiter will suddenly enter into its exaltation 12th house, and Mars will be in Scorpio. The same thing that is happening now, that Mars is in debilitation 12th house, Mercury is in 8th house, 4th house, and Rahu is in 8th house. The same Moksha Trikon will again get activated next year in November, December. So the takeaway is that whenever the Moksha Trikon is activated, and if it is getting activated 2 times in the 2 consecutive years, and your Ketu is on the Lagna, you have to take a little bit sit back spiritual approach, or go to the flow, a little bit in seclusion approach, which is difficult for certain people. I get that. Everybody do not stay in the life with that mode. uh, maybe it's easier for me because that is how I like to go, and it helps me in my work, because astrology is a god driven, I mean, god driven in this, it requires divinity, touch with divinity. So these kind of a little bit of meditative state of existence helps me with my subject. If you can do that, if you can inculcate those things, because moksha Trikon is already telling that it is about some kind of detachment, some kind of let go of things, and it helps you. Not that it is always a pain. Maybe you are burdened with a lot of things, you have put a lot of things in yourself, and you just let it go, you're burden free. It can be as simple as that. So this year, 2025, I cannot process it is in a good or a bad way, because the changes that will happen will push you towards a better version of yourself. Now see, when we work from Monday to Friday, we get very bored and we require a Saturday Sunday, right, for some kind of unwinding. Similarly, when we are living a process for so long, the planets are a little bit pushing us for unwinding ourselves and looking into life in a different way. Now that, if it is taken in a negative way, always that is not the way. Always see, Aquarius was about group activities, it was about good intellectual things, goodies. That's why I said Saturn did offer goodies. If you look into your things, you will find, unless the dasha was very bad. Leo, especially 7th Saturn, it gives lot of power status also. 7th Saturn is like that in its own mul trikon. But there is a way of Saturn, obviously. Now, when Saturn now moves into Pisces, it is a little seclusion that you must go into. Not telling that you eradicate everybody from your life, but your nature or your mood or your setup will be such from the month of March that you want to work by yourself. And these 2 years are like that, 2025, 2026. 2027, again there'll be change, as Saturn will move into Aries, come back into Pisces, and then finally it will move into Aries for some kind of startup. But these 2 years, it's a little back foot approach, and because it's a watery sign, you have to process your emotions, process your research, process your understanding of things, and then again you start. At least 2 years we require to do that. So it's not a bad year. It is not bad. I don't believe that it will be a bad year. But yes, when so many changes happen, Jupiter, a planet who stays 12 months in a sign, going crossing 3 signs from Taurus to Gemini to Cancer and coming back, a lot of changes are there. To process the change, I feel we should put the things within ourselves and do not burst out, because Ketu in Leo is very heated up. That is my only concern. Ketu in Leo and Mars conjoining Ketu in the month of July exactly. So gear up for that year, understand it's a different year, and let have this taste of a little bit of different Saturn. Rahu will do good. Rahu does good in the Aquarius. I have no doubt in that. So, okay, so many Leo people can go for a marriage also, as Jupiter will be in the 11th house. It's a good time to marry actually. If you have plans, you can execute the plan in, I will say, especially wait for a little bit of time. July, maybe May, June is okay, as Rahu changes sign. June is okay. If you can leave out the Mars Ketu conjunction, August, September, October is good again. Even November, December is also not bad, because Jupiter will be in exaltation. So overall, it is not a bad year. It will show you a lot of changes. We have to accept the changes, and it will bring a lot of different taste to different areas of life. So hope you take some insights. Every month there are a lot of changes, because I'll give the dates, and that will happen every month. I'll give videos on that. So have a good time, Leo. Happy New Year to all the Leo ascendants out there.